رجعنا لكم مرة تانية. إذا كان البرلمان الدولي يهتم جدا بكل برلمانات العالم، واتكلمنا مع سكرتير عام البرلمان الدولي وقعدنا نتكلم في حاجات والتعاون وغيره، طب هما بيدربوا البرلمانات على ايه؟ ايه هو دوره التقني في البرلمانات؟ كل المؤسسات اللي حضراتكم بتشوفوها دي، كل المؤسسات اللي بتحكم العالم، كل المؤسسات اللي بتشرع للعالم، وراها في ورشة عمل بتتحرك، امانات بتتحرك. طب مين اللي بيدعمهم؟ مين اللي بيفهمهم يعملوه ازاي؟ طب هل البرلمان بتاعنا محتاج التدريب ده؟ واذا كان مين اللي بيدربها؟ ضيفتنا النهارده ويمكن لاول مره تظهر على اي شاشات في الدول العربيه او في الدول اللي بتشتغل فيها عاده، هي المتخصصه على البرنامج بتاع التدريب بتاع البرلمان المصري. الاعضاء اللي جايين ان شاء الله المره الجايه هيدخلوا هيلاقوا ناس متدربه في الامانه، يتحركوا ازاي، يعملوا ايه، بس هيعملوا ايه ويدربونا ازاي، ده اللي احنا هنعرفه منها. دكتور كارين جبر، مدير اداره البرامج باتحاد البرلمان الدولي، وهي مسؤولة أيضا عن البرنامج المصري. دكتور كارين, we welcome you in 90 minutes and thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to talk with you.
Thank you very much for having me.
What do you guys do in the Egyptian Parliament? What do you do?
What do we do?
Yeah, what are you doing for Egypt?
Well, I mean, the IPU, as you know, is an organization that promotes democracy and strong parliaments, because we see this as a fundamental part of democracy. And in the case of Egypt, what we are trying to achieve in a first phase is to enhance the capacities of the parliament so that when the MPs are elected, they can start functioning and working effectively very fast in order to meet the expectations of the Egyptian people.
Okay, so you're actually training their staff. You're actually training and injecting into the blood of the Egyptian parliament the new things, new technologies, new ways of handling, teaching them a lot of things. What makes you or makes us in need of your help?
Well, the parliament in Egypt now is going to be a new parliament. You have adopted a new constitution with the new functions and powers for the parliament. You're passing from a bicameral parliament to a unicameral one, which means that you are merging staff from two houses. You have also newcomers.
So yeah, we're cancelling the shura and we're bringing a shura with the shab into one.
Yes.
Into one parliament. Yes.
You have now a secretariat that is composed of around 3,000 people.
3,000 people. Is this a good number?
It's a big number. If you use the people effectively, then it's a very good number. If you don't find responsibilities and work for all these 3,000 people, then it's maybe a challenging number, if I can say so. So I think the challenge now facing the Egyptian parliament is to really transform itself into an effective organization and institution so as to really function properly and help the MPs once they're elected. This means...
Can't we do this on our own?
There is a lot.
What's your value add?
Well, let me start saying that there is a lot of experience already in Egypt, so that is not the question, and we are not there to replace or to disregard this experience. We are actually building on it. But it's always important to be exposed to experiences from other countries and to progress and improve. The Parliament of Egypt has not been functioning for the past years, as you know, so you have to revitalize the Parliament. You're facing new challenges, as I said, because you're merging two houses into one. And I think the expectations from the Egyptian people are going to be very high. So you really need to be, ready for this. The IPU works on the basis of bringing in experience from other countries in order to enhance the work of parliaments at the national basis. We are not there to preach in no kind of way. We are there to expose parliaments to other experiences and for you to pick and choose what would be best for your parliament.
So you give us the choice, or you give the parliament itself the choice to choose the program of training that they need, or you are the one that will tell them, I think this is your program, you need to know this and that?
The way we develop assistance is always led by the those that benefit from the assistance. So it has to be led by the Parliament itself. So the program we have developed is the result of an inclusive process and an assessment we carried out with the Egyptian Parliament.
When did you start?
So we started the program of work in 2014. We've been accompanying and supporting the Egyptian Parliament since 2011, on and off, following the events in Egypt. But the real program that we're implementing right now started in 2014. It's based on an assessment we carried out with experts, with staff from the IPU, but also with the Egyptian Parliament and the staff itself. And we've identified priority needs, which we are currently implementing.
Tell me.
Okay.
Tell me, what are the programs? Which one of them you thought it was the top priorities? When will they be ready? Tell me all this. What's the programs currently you're working on,
Okay.
and which one of them is the priority?
We have three priorities. The first was to enhance the skills of the Secretariat, the knowledge, the experience, and the capacity of the Secretariat. As I said, you have a merger of two Secretariats from the Shura and the House, but you also had 700 new staff that were hired.
700?
New staff members.
Okay, in the Parliament? But the Parliament's not working.
They were hired in the past 2 years on the on and off situations, and you have this staff, which are young members of staff with a lot of potential, but that need to be trained. So
they've never been trained before?
They have, and some of them have been exposed to parliamentary experience, others have not. So it's important to sort of build a common knowledge amongst the staff and a common experience and
so this is not a training program, this is a college.
Almost. But it's an intense training program. We have 5 phases. We are providing training on constitutional law, on the functioning of parliaments, on their roles. We're providing training on media, on research, on IT, on the role of committees, on the role of the budget, how it functions, etc., etc. The idea is to really get everyone up to scratch, to really have the same understanding of how a parliament should function. This training is important not only in order to build the knowledge, but in order to build a cohesion amongst the Secretariat.
So that when they work, they will be working in harmony.
Exactly.
Rather than hurdle or have any problems with the MPs or with the functions of the Parliament itself.
They need to be clear as to what their role is and what is the role of MPs, where is the line to be drawn, what should be expected of them, and what is expected of MPs. And so
when you say Secretariat, you actually need, you mean the running engine.
Yes.
Itself. This is the Secretariat,
yes,
like the running engine for the IBU itself.
Exactly.
Because which we say it in Arabic, al-amin, al-amana, al-amma. Okay. Very well.
That's
how many people
part.
there?
Sorry.
You said the 700 plus
you
the
have
old ones,
1,500 from the House and around 900 from the Shura. These are approximate numbers, plus the 700. So you're talking around 3,000 staff members, which is, again, as I said, the challenge is going to make sure that everyone finds his or her place.
Are you going to do a job description for them?
This is the role of the Secretary General and the head of the Secretariat of the Egyptian Parliament to make sure that there is a proper structuring and restructuring of the Secretariat, an organizational chart.
And they're going to do this role, wallahi, I want to tell you, they might do this role very well. If they have 3,000 people, do you understand? Okay. No, well, the reason I'm smiling is that, do you know that we are thinking about having elections within a month or 2?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you, Kida, before we even continue, what programs are we doing? Is the staff of the Egyptian Parliament ready to handle a newly elected Parliament coming in with all this politics going on?
Today it is not. Once the MPs will come into function, hopefully it will have a minimum level of readiness.
Minimum?
Well, This is going to take time. You cannot merge two houses, build the capacity, organize a parliament in 3 months' time. I fully agree with you. That's not possible. What we need to be realistic in terms of priorities. The first priority is to make sure that once the MPs are elected, the parliament can function. And as we go along, we will continue the training both of MPs and provide support also to staff, and therefore enhance the capacity as we go along.
Okay. The first program is the Secretariat. When did it start? When will it end?
So the first, the Secretariat training started in early 2014. It's been now really building up in terms of we have really regular sessions and in 5 phases and multitude of groups working at the same time. I need to say that most of the training is provided by Egyptian experts. So as I said, we are building on the experience that is present in Egypt. We are not bringing in for that, expertise from elsewhere.
Excellent.
The training is due to continue till mid next year as we go along. The more we go along, the more we will specialize or implement specific training. So now we are working on basic knowledge, basic training, and as we go along, it will be much more focused.
When will the basic finish?
We hope to have it finished by the end of the year. And we have already started some specific training as well for some key sections of the Secretariat that can already start the specific training. So all this is in phases.
You're working directly with the Minister Ibrahim Hinaydi's office, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, who has been following the whole implementation of the program. We have now a new Secretary General that has been appointed to the Parliament, and he will also be, of course, overseeing the implementation of the program with his staff.
Second training?
Second priority is to organize the welcoming and the first days of the work of the Parliament. This is crucial. As you say, you're going to have
the introductory week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, you've gone through it, and
of course. Isn't it always nice?
Yes, I'm sure it is. And you will have many newcomers, those that have, of course, had previous experience, others that have never been in Parliament. High expectations already from the people in, MPs starting work and delivering for them. So you need to find a right balance, make sure that the MPs know exactly how things are going to work, are welcomed in an appropriate way, and immediately can start work as soon as possible. In order to organize that, it requires a lot of organization from the level of the staff and the Secretariat. And we are already starting now to organize these first days of welcoming of MPs with the current Secretariat. This means looking at what are the needs, who is going to do what, how are we going to prepare for that, and having a very clear plan of action that is going to be implemented over the next months, so that when the MPs come into Parliament, they have a first good impression of Parliament, and that they know that they will be supported by an effective staff in order to really assist them in their work. It's very important that this first week goes well. It's also very important that...
Because it's the week where you elect all the committees inside the Parliament. It's the week where you form all the committee secretaries. Absolutely. It's the week where you give them all the information, you teach them how to speak, when to speak, get them the cards, the IDs, their rights, their benefits, right?
You've said it all.
It is actually 50% of the initial management needed knowledge.
Absolutely.
Of the whole session is done in the first week.
So the challenge is how to do that in such a short amount of time and make sure that people get the information in the correct way. So we're looking into briefings, we're looking in development of tools, we're looking into assistance directly, etc., etc. There's a multitude of dimensions. How many
people are involved in the training?
For the second one, for the moment we have started the training or the organization of work with a steering committee composed of the heads of the different departments in order to identify the responsibilities, the objectives and the steps in the planning for the welcoming of MPs. Then the next step will be for each head of department to follow up with its own department and prepare its staff for the welcoming of MPs. But the majority of the staff of the Parliament is going to be involved in the welcoming of MPs. And in addition to all that you said, in the sense of this is crucial for the MPs in order to start work, it's also crucial in order to build a good relationship between the MPs and the staff. They're going to be working together for a few years.
Hopefully this one lasts for a few years. Hopefully. Because starting 2010, none of them lasted long enough.
Well, hopefully it will last this time. And the point is to really make sure that this first encounter is a positive one, that there is an understanding. And
third priority.
Third priority, more linked to the capacity and technical needs of the Parliament. How to modernize it into a Parliament that uses better IT, research needs.
You started putting this culture into the Egyptian Parliament?
Yes, there is already an existing culture.
It existed, but it was not widely used.
No, it wasn't.
What is new? What are you changing? What are you updating? What are you upgrading?
Well, there are several recommendations. We just finished the first assessment of 2 weeks where we had experts, working with the Parliament and identifying the needs. There is a need to extend the use of IT within the Parliament in order to facilitate communication within the staff through IT, but also with the members. There's a need to install e-voting, electronic voting system, which is now currently being done.
We've always wanted to do that. But they convinced us always as well that it was never going to be working nicely. So you mean to tell me next time we are voting in the Egyptian Parliament, when the parliamentarians are voting, they will be voting electronically?
Hopefully.
Is it possible?
Hopefully. I hope we'll meet next time and the Parliament will work and we'll be able to say so. But hopefully, yes, this is the objective. It has already been started in terms of putting together the system. It has to be completed, but this is one of the things that we're working on and accompanying the Parliament in implementing. We need to enhance the research capacity of the Parliament, the library, but also in order to...
The library. Have you been to that library? Have you seen it?
I've seen the library.
What do you think of the Egyptian Parliament library?
Well, I think there's a lot of potential. There's a great wealth in this library, but I think the potential is not used well enough. I think there is more that you can pull out of the knowledge that is there. I think it's also a question of building, better meeting the needs of the MPs. I think this is the gap that needs to be met for the moment.
But how would you know the needs of the Egyptian MPs? You're working always with international MPs. Are you applying the same needs that you might find among European or worldwide parliamentarians to the needs that might occur for the Egyptian Parliament?
Well, I don't think the needs are very different. I think that there are common needs, and I think our first objective are to meet those. And these you will find in every sort of parliament.
The straightforward, I need information access, I need stability.
I need a background notes, I need to find information on this, I need a gender perspective on this, or whatever it is. I think, you need to be able to build that capacity and respond to those basic needs. After that, I think as the MPs will come into function and will work, we will have a second phase of support to the Parliament where we will be able to identify additional needs that might be more specific to the situation in Egypt.
The committees themselves.
The committees, the needs of the MPs, once they come up, they might have some specific issues that we haven't thought of. And this is where we will be able to tailor.
Who funds all this?
Funding comes from the IPU budgets, which is composed of both core funding from all of our members, but external funds that we get from external donors. In this case, we have received funding from a variety of countries, which go to all of our technical assistance work.
Around the world.
Around the world, which includes funding from Sweden, from Ireland, from Norway, but also...
The Scandinavians went in big time.
Yes, but in the particular case of the Egyptians, we have received also a big support from the United Arab Emirates, who have been very keen in supporting especially the IT renovation of the Parliament. But they are going to be a major supporter.
You said about two sectors. of the nations, or two sides of the nations that come in. Tell me a bit more about the IPU. How many countries are you applying or training or helping around the world now? How many parliaments?
Okay, we are, our organization regroups more than 160 parliaments from all around the world. We are currently implementing on a yearly basis support to around 30 parliaments on a...
How much staff do you have?
Well, the beauty of the IPU is that the experience and the expertise doesn't come necessarily from the Secretariat, it comes from the members of the IPU. As I said, we call on parliamentarians from other countries, members of staff from other parliaments to come and assist their colleagues in other countries. So we have the potential of, calling on 160 parliaments from around the world to help each other. It's parliamentary solidarity and it's parliamentary, assistance. And this is what we facilitate. So it's not me going to Egypt, it will be a member of parliament from Belgium, which was the case, or from the UK, or from Norway, or I forget where, Ireland, that will go and support and share their experience and their guidance with the Egyptian staff and MPs.
Wouldn't the language stand as a barrier between a foreign trader, trainer talking in English or in French, and the Egyptian staff, or do they all speak English?
Well, for the moment, and it's a very good point, we have the trainers that have come, or the experts that have come, have been mostly English-speaking trainers. What is great is that the staff of the Egyptian Parliament, most of them speak English, and we have been able to work in that sense, but we have also had interpretation in order to facilitate communication. As we go along, I think priority is going to be to get expertise from the Arab world in order to support the needs. But for the moment, where we found the best expertise to meet the first needs came from those countries, and this is why we've had access to those or staff.
What type of training are you thinking about giving to the MPs themselves? Now we talked about the secretarial, the staff, the insights, everything there. The MPs, you also train MPs.
Absolutely.
The National Parliament Union trains newly elected MPs.
Yes, we facilitate, we organize workshops for MPs.
To do what? What are you going to teach them? What do you think the new Egyptian parliament member needs to be, or to learn, or to find out?
Well, based on the experience we've seen in other parliaments, I think one of the first things we provide is induction courses.
Induction, then what else?
Then we generally try to focus on thematic needs. It could be on having discussions on how to enhance the oversight capacity of parliaments, what are the tools, strategies. It can be needs in terms of how to communicate, how to speak to the media, how to speak to your constituents. It can be also basic information training on...
the training for the parliament member comes when you train the whole parliament itself, or can the parliamentarians approach you individually and tell you, I need to retrain?
No, generally for the IPU we need to have an institutional request. So
the parliament has to request that you would come and offer these courses for the people, or the members of the parliament.
The members of the IPU are parliaments. It's the Parliament of Egypt that is a member of the IPU. So we need to receive
So you don't do anything, you don't talk at all with individual parliamentarians unless they are sent to you by the member?
No, of course we talk with them, and it's always interesting to hear what an individual MP identifies as a priority in terms of training and needs, and we have to do that, or else we would be completely blind, or we might miss out on important things. But in order to trigger the implementation of a program, then we need to receive a request from the Parliament in order to ensure that this is really going to benefit everyone.
Were you involved in any way in training any part of the parliament, or did you visit the Egyptian parliament during the Muslim Brotherhood?
Training, no. No.
But you visited there?
We visited there, and at one point...
didn't they request any help? Didn't they request that somebody trains, somebody prepares?
I don't think we reached that point of the discussions. We never received a formal request with specific needs identified in terms of what is needed for the MPs. Similarly, right now we have not received a request in terms of what are the needs of the MPs. This is something we will have to identify as the MPs come on board. What we will certainly hopefully do is start with the induction courses and very quickly after that identify the priorities of the MPs.
What I really like about you is that you're very open to that and expecting good results. I can see it on your face. I hope so too. And I think all the audience would hope so that you do the same. Dr. كارين جبر مدير إدارة البرامج باتحاد البرلمان الدولي. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for being with us. بشكر حضراتكم على المتابعة. اديكم شفتوا كمية التدريب اللي محتاجينها. كمية التدريب اللي محتاجينها في الإدارة، كمية التدريب اللي محتاجينها في السكرتارية، كمية التدريب اللي محتاجينها للنواب اللي حضراتكم هتنتخبوهم. المسألة هنا مش تهريج، دي مسؤولية. ده كرسي برلمان مصر بعد ثورتين وبعد تعب شديد جدا. اللي هو داخل عليه المفروض يكون مستعد له، وهو لازم كمان يكون مستعد. ليه؟ الكل بيعمل ده وبيدرب ده عشان يقدر يخدمك انت اللي انتخبته.